against one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. We need approval of the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? We need approval from Monday, March 18th minutes.
Thought they read well. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, first item on the agenda is secondary roads. Zach.
No, you're fine. I don't need much space.
So Zach has a review and consider approval of the Silver Clean Wind Farm LLC and activity here. And approved utility permits and then the permit updates. So I'm gonna start off with the Silver Clean first.
Sure, I can.
Want to do an introduction?
Sure. Sure. Wouldn't hurt.
Stephanie Nelson, supervisor.
Scott Johnson, supervisor.
Cindy Scalarico, supervisor. Courtney Pyer, auditor.
Mike Anderson, supervisor.
Zach, you know me.
Gene
Minder's coming out.
He's the auditor.
Lots of help.
Okay.
I think it's something else.
Come over here. Seats.
All right. Go.
We started discussing this road use and maintenance agreement probably last early fall or late summer. Kind of work through the kinks. I know they've already been and had discussed this in Crawford County and have their road use and maintenance agreement approved in Crawford. We use that base for what this is. We've made a few minor changes, modifications to it with review from the county attorney, and this is kind of where we sit. I think I sent this out to you early last week for your review. I think we're good to go. Obviously it's just a step in the process, but I guess I don't really have any other comments on it. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add.
Yeah, I'll just add a few comments. What we want to ensure is that the county's infrastructure is protected ultimately through the construction of the project, operations of the project, when the project is decommissioned. So mechanically, how the road use agreement works is we do a baseline road survey before we go into construction, identify any county roads we will be impacting. We do a baseline road survey for the road use agreement. Carroll County kind of like to have someone participate in that survey as well. What they'll do is they'll video record all the roads. They'll take depth as well on how much covers on the road, get everything documented. During construction, it goes through what the process and procedure is. Say a resident does have a concern with call it dust or other issues, how those concerns are ultimately addressed and remedied. At the end of construction, there's a post-construction road survey, ensures we put things back to the same or better condition as how we found them. So mechanically, high level, that's how the road use agreement works. As Zach mentioned, this is the same form we had approved over on the Crawford side as well. So we look forward to working with the county and getting this done. So.
I know I had a couple questions, you answered them, I was satisfied with. So when do you think that they will apply for the permits for the towers? Just so we're not getting the cart too far in front of the horse.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way I'll answer the question kind of in reverse order here. So the way the road use agreement is structured, we'll identify those county roads that will be impacting roughly 90 days in advance of the start of construction. So, folks always are, curious, why don't you do it earlier? Why can't we know the roads now? I mean, out there, when we look at coming off the pavement to the dirt roads, we have a pretty good feel of what dirt roads are impacting, but we buy a lot of turbine components from General Electric. So you could have your hubs coming from Nebraska, your blades coming from North Dakota, your gearboxes coming from Florida. So you got components coming in from a lot of different places. So say somewhere between Florida and here, you could have a highway that's closed. It could actually change the route in your transportation plan. So we don't want to go identifying roads too early. That could change as we get closer to the start of construction. So when we look at, tower numbers, I'll kick it over to Bobby just to talk through the evolution, the project, the number of towers has actually gotten smaller over time. So I'll have Bobby talk through a few of those numbers for you.
Yeah, sure. So right now, the project's 252 megawatts spread out over 31,000 acres. And over time, turbine technology has gotten more efficient, blades have gotten longer, turbines have gotten bigger. So we're looking at up to 77 turbines. And right now it's a sort of
Carroll County.
no.
That's the
So
whole farm.
the whole farm.
Okay.
It's a sort of an even Steven split between Crawford and Carroll counties right now. So, yeah, up to 77 turbines. We actually have roughly an 18-mile gen-tie line that we have to get the power into Denison. And we signed the last couple of landowners over this past Christmas. So a big win for the project. And, we'll be working through the state IUB process to build an electric transmission line in the state of Iowa. And we expect to have that permit in hand by hopefully this fall. So I guess just another couple of project updates as well. We're doing a lot of surveys right now, a lot of studies. We have our geotech crew out in the field. You might have seen them. They're taking geotech studies. They're pouring down to about 60 feet. It's not too big, their actual drill, and really just going to the project infrastructure locations. So, that's really to inform the foundation design of these turbines. So really trying to figure out, is this soil suitable for a wind turbine? So just some necessary studies that we need to conduct. And, in the background, we're working with other contractors to get our wetland studies done, our cultural field surveys done. And really the goal behind all that is we'll have them all wrapped up and ready to go for an updated round of EPC proposals this summer. And, it helps us determine the project pricing and see where we're at from an economic standpoint.
And just hitting the EPC biz a little bit, the reason why we're in front of you today, getting the road use agreement approved is we want to be able to hand to our contractor and say, this is the agreement we have with Carroll County. So that way everyone is going in with eyes wide open. That contractor knows what they're bound to do, what the requirements are here in Carroll County. So that way, when they bid the project, when it comes to, you might have to do some cement stabilization on the roads, when we look at dust abatement, they're factoring this road use agreement into their bids when we go out to have them update their bids here over the next couple of months. So that's why we're running y'all today.
Yeah, and then, jumping off that too as well, right now the project's looking at a 2-season build. But it's potential that the project could be a 1-season build. In the 2-season build scenario, we look at starting construction around April 2025 and everything up and spinning around October 2026. So that's sort of the base case of the project right now is a 2-season build, especially with these sometimes heavy winters out in Iowa. It can be hard to get people out pretty early. So
You'd have been fine this year. I think
Right.
we had a week of winter,
So we wish we would.
and that's the irony of it. That's the irony.
but next year we'll have like 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Does anybody have any questions? Zach, thanks for filling this out. Trying to take this as well. I don't. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it and explaining. You want us to put it in?
If you're willing, that's where we're headed to, I think. If you're so inclined.
We need a motion to approve the Silver Queen Wind Farm LLC road use and maintenance agreement and for the chair to sign.
I'll make a motion to approve the use and maintenance agreements both.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Does anybody have a blue pen? I think that's fine.
Second thing I got is a couple utility permits.
Who the first is?
He was second, I think. Thank you. First permit is for Casey Mutual Telephone Company. This is in Union sections 13, 14, 15, and 24. So basically near around the Coon Rapids area. They did a little bit of work last year down there, putting some fiber in, so they're doing a little bit more. It's basically coming from the Greene County line over, two different little fingers, serving a few residents. They do have another application that they've turned in as well for a little larger area south of Dedham that they'll be doing as well. We're doing a little more review on that one, but this one, they're wanting to get started as soon as the weather is suitable here, so. Basically along 310th Street, and along 320th Street are the two areas that, they're looking to serve. Really nothing different than what we've done with them in the past and with West Iowa Networks and all the other fiber that we've done in the last couple of years, so. I don't believe so, as far as I know. They've,
Casey's out of Casey, Iowa.
They got, I think, southeast.
the southeast corner, they've kind of done a little bit. I don't think Western Networks has done any work down in that area. So
You have a map.
Overall map?
That has fiber, no, that has fiber. We're just doing our 10-year coverage.
yeah, I need to get back to Sarah on that. She emailed me. We don't. We're working on trying to get all these permits put into GIS. I'm actually having Sarah help us with that in, I guess I'll call it spare time or downtime, which that's hard to come by sometimes, but we don't have an overall map of what that is right now. Probably the best would be basically looking at the maps for West Iowa Networks the last 2 years, because that's the largest amount. But there was fiber, in the county before that, but it wasn't all just a home. It was maybe running from a community to community, or from like a power substation to a cell phone tower or things like that. So it wasn't really for, I guess, for home use. It was more for business use per se. So there is some of that fiber out there, and there was some for homes as well, but it's definitely grown greatly in the last 2 years with some of the new legislation that's come through.
One thing about this case, Mike and I have talked about that. At the end of that application, you could probably get a little better addresses on it.
I would agree.
The Raccoon Valley Electric one's really good. This one's, I know someone else, probably you had to write that in there.
I added the blue.
That's what I mean.
But
So
yeah,
that's where they should maybe put a 911 on maybe where they're going to, the fiber on them, and make it easier.
it would. And I'll have that conversation with them.
James Johnson.
Yes,
You talked about it.
I will say maybe a little lacking on the paperwork side. From a construction side, they were very good to work with. They did a very good job of looking for culverts, talking with us about, which side of the road and things like that. So overall, they've been good to work with, but I agree that the more description would be better. Cool.
So
We can do them together if you don't think you're gonna have any issues, so. Second one is for Raccoon Valley Electric. This one's Glidden's section 30 and 31. Just getting service to a tower site location. I guess they already have existing service, but getting a new underground service to it. They've been doing a lot of these, obviously, the last couple of years.
City here, right?
I believe so. I believe
Just
so.
across that road.
Yep. But otherwise, nothing different than what they've normally done from a underground service perspective.
Motion to approve the EC mutual telephone company. Utility permits. I'll second that.
So motion in a second, any more discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good day. Just a couple of things. One, we've been looking for a survey van for quite some time, for over 9 months now. Did finally find a used one very similar to what we had. So you'll see that in the payables, for today. It's a 2018 GMC Savannah, so basically it's a year newer with about 5,000 or 6,000 more miles than what we had, so we're pretty close to what we were, and the price that we got it for is less than what our insurance, what the prices that we're buying it for is less than what the insurance value was that we got on it.
Got a set or rebate check.
I think we'll find a place to use it.
You know how to charge us when they want premium, right?
Well, we're trying to get our little bit back when we can, so. So glad to find that. Hopefully we'll pick that up here in the next couple days. Our snow plow and wings did come in, last Monday. So that's been a long time coming for that as well, but everything looked good. So we'll continue to work on getting our 4 trucks that we had put together. One of those 4 we did have running this winter, we cobbled together, other used snow equipment to put on it to make it work for the winter. We'll use that through the rest of this winter, whatever winter's left. And then we'll put new,
Don't even say that.
you know how that goes. We might have another month and a half, Scott. So we'll see how that goes, but keep getting those 4 trucks ready to go. Also working on the 5-year program for the DOT program, so I'll have that here in the next week or two. That's due the 15th of April, so working on trying to have that ready here either next week or the following week for review, so. Also working on, I don't have a final answer yet or final determination yet, but there's been interest in a summer intern that's wanted to engineering student that wants to come work for us in the summer, and we're working through the details on that as well, so. About it. Actually got some rain, which is good.
It's good. Fix your roads.
We'll keep working on it.
Thank you, Zach.
We're stockpiling quite a bit of gravel. We got our Carroll stockpiles reasonably full. We still can get some more down there. We've been hauling some down to Templeton. You probably noticed. We'll still continue to haul some down there. We are getting some white rock in from the contract that we let this winter as well. Probably a quarter of the way through that, by 1,500 ton roughly. So we're gaining there as well. So hopefully just Mother Nature cooperates and keep going.
What are you gonna do with the break when you get that thrown in by time? You get close.
I know. We'll keep finding a place to use it. Probably put a little stockpile there before it's all said and done, but
I think everybody's kind of amazed at how fast that's going.
that's gonna turn into a nice location, I think, when it's all said and done. So it was not shaped the best when we first started, but we're definitely gaining.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to approve payables that everybody have. Any questions?
I looked through them, I think I got my question answered. I'll make a motion. I wanted to do it, it's a really long one. Okay. I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item number 3, we need to appoint the county board of health member. Mike, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, we got Nick Colon, he's currently employed at the Carroll Vet Clinic to join as a Board of Health member. He will start at the next meeting, I guess, so that's who we are making a motion to approve him.
Second. Or do you?
I think we need to.
There's a motion and a second to appoint Nick Collins to the board of health.
Colon is CULLEN.
It's a 3-year term.
So he'll fill, like, he's filling the vacancy and then
Barron's.
whatever that
Barron's just
remaining
got
term was left.
Yeah,
4 year.
I think it's a 4-year term. I could be wrong. And his vacancy was just up in January 1st, so.
All right, there's a motion in a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is to discuss investment options for opioid settlement money. You kind of spearhead this. This is a conversation that Scott and I kind of had, and then we ran it across with Courtney. Our current dollar amount in there is at 183,000.
Yeah, because we had 90 and then we got another 80. So, no, we had 106 and we got another 80. I don't remember. I can get back to you on that. I didn't have a lot of time to be looking at that stuff on Friday, but
So we have this money sitting in the account. We've had presentations from 2 different entities, RFPs brought in. It kind of depends on when you guys think we're gonna do something with this, but Scott's good idea was to have it sit in a CD and generate its own income of interest. Unless we want to hand out the money right away and let the money work for itself, well, until we decide what we're gonna do.
Right now, you get 5.1% for 7 months, and,
Locked in for 7.
yeah.
Can't touch
But I
it.
don't think, I think Gene and I, we went to that thing at ISAC about it. And I think there's still ideas of how it's being spent. A lot of counties did public health, but I think while we're trying to figure out the best use for it, I think if we put it into a CD, it would be smart.
I think it is too, even if you put in most of it or waited, you know what I mean?
But this is basically discussing this. I don't know if we have to have a motion to do it, or to direct the treasurer or allow the treasurer to.
If we had like 180 some, I would vote to put like 150 some of that in there. In case there was something that got brought up to us that we could start and use that 30 to start right away, or cause you're kind of locked in for 7 months. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, if you do have to take it out, you just have to take a penalty.
It's 90 days.
So it's not like
You're not totally out, but it's.
Not saying we wanna be the first of the game on coming up with really good ideas.
But someone-
Really
yeah.
good, sit back and kind of watch what other counties are doing with that money.
I've had nothing that has jumped out at us of all the roundtables we've had about it or. Presentations. I mean, there's good ideas, but there's not a lot of money there to fund something for a long time, so
Well, it's gonna be probably one time bounce.
I agree. And everyone that's came has kind of been looking to add
And believe,
an employee, which just doesn't go very far.
well, they have to sustain that after.
Yeah.
This 1 month.
Yes,
So should we put 90% of whatever dollar value it is into a CD?
yeah. 80-90%, somewhere in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, do 90%, authorize the treasurer to put up to 90% in a CD, 7 months at 5.1% interest.
Here's a motion, is there
Excuse me, I'll second that.
any more discussion?
yes.
Local option process. We potentially do an idea like this, thinking outside of the box and thinking longevity and futures of the board. Can you do that with local options, those types of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the bank right now, wherever you put it.
Any legal way.
But you know what she's getting now for?
No, you'd have to check with her. I don't do it in the banking.
She's probably got some of this,
Okay,
but what percent that probably is gonna be close.
Yeah, I mean-
Would be our price.
Yeah, I know we have CDs, what pot of money that came from in those CDs, I'm not sure, you'd have to check with her.
I don't know.
But yes, you could, I mean, you could say, okay. We're gonna get $700,000 that we can use next year, let's put some of that in a CD. But
Say, I mean, I was just snowballing this week, I was thinking about it, because, a lot of our projects are relatively, once we get the courthouse done, we've done 2 big things, we did the jail and the courthouse model. Thinking down the future of what potentially could come up, I mean, there's a couple things, but to have kind of a savings account that help offset that
On the
burden.
7 month time frame is what's nice. It's not like it's
Well,
a
you
3-year
can
minimum.
have a good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They're usually very hard, yeah.
So I'll have a conversation with Lisa and just kind of see where we have some of our money at, see what we could maybe improve and then bring it to the board and discuss it.
I like this idea a lot.
Is
Alright.
someone gonna talk to the treasurer about the 90%? Okay. Yeah, and as far as the investing the money and stuff, that's kind of the duty of the treasurer to do that, so, but I'm sure she'd be open or.
She's working on, I think, $1 million one right now with the same bank that this will probably go into.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's always nice to hear other people's ideas too, so.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. So we got a motion in a second.
For 90%, would you say, Scott, at 5.1 right now? Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And,
I
and,
heard
and,
3 ayes there.
I was not.
hi,
Fine.
and roughly, we're thinking we have 180 some thousand in there right now.
I think it's about 200, because the last check was like 89,000 something.
86.
We had 100 and
123. It's around 200.
Close to 200,000 in there.
all right, next item on the agenda is ICAP insurance settlement for conservation buildings. Jason's gonna come in and kind of explain this paperwork. Obviously with that storm we received, there was damage. It's taken a while to get the contractor, insurance, and Jason all on the same page.
Well, they emailed Jason and I didn't feel comfortable making a decision, and I don't think I think you'd be more comfortable if you made the decision on how to
Right,
proceed.
Jason?
Good morning. So we're still working through this hail mess from last spring. So we're down to on the vehicle end of things, we got one that's getting fixed right now, and then we were done with the vehicles, but on the buildings. The sticking point has been this building, obviously, with the size of it and some various different estimates, and they've had a couple building consultants look at the building. Everybody kind of is giving different opinions on what it's gonna cost to do this. So basically what has happened, ICAP, John Malarkey with ICAP, who's been our representative with ICAP. The buildings on the spreadsheet, did you guys all get that? Otherwise I have copies of it. But so the descriptions of buildings that are listed are the ones we have to do, left to do. They got all the asphalt shingled roofs done last fall, early winter. So these are the ones that are left. And the one, obviously the education center was kind of the one that's been causing the most grief out of all of them. So this is what they've agreed to, with Brinks Exteriors here locally, to finish out the rest of the buildings. And this is in line with their latest building consultant. ICAP hired their own building consultant to come look at this building, give their opinion, and cost estimate. And that's kind of where they've agreed, with Brinks to be at that number. So that's they
Is
agreed
that
with price.
Is that the third column then?
So the agreed with price is the yellow column. So that's what ICAP has agreed to pay out, on the rest of these buildings. And they've already made payment on the ones we got done. So there's the actual cash value column, which is the orangish column. And then basically what Brinks is asking, and the reason I'm here, Brinks would like ICAP to pay the actual cash value up front, because they're gonna have a lot of money in materials, ordered materials for this building, especially this building and the east shelter. But the county would have to agree to pay them that money up front. So they would pay the orange column, that 343,615 up front. And they could order materials, which they've already come out and measured everything again, and they're ordering materials. But they're gonna have to, pay for those materials, so.
Let's back up here. You got the yellow is the agreed price with bricks.
Yep.
And then the orange is the actual cash value. Why is there so much difference? Why is it-
So the actual cash value is a depreciated cost.
Oh, okay.
So basically they will pay out that amount up front. And then once the project's complete, they'll pay the difference between the yellow column. They'll actually they'll pay up to the replacement cost. So they're not getting everything up front, but they're getting a fairly good chunk of it.
So that difference of 100 grand is still getting covered?
Yes,
Okay,
it's still getting covered. They just won't pay that out till the project's done.
done, okay. that makes-
Brinks would like the actual cash value, that column up front, because they got a lot of materials to
Yeah.
cover. The risk you run, obviously, is if you're dealing with a contractor, somebody you're not familiar with,
Yeah.
they could take that money and then,
Right,
you know, not
Order the materials and
not
put it in the pocket.
it's a good business plan.
not that I'm concerned with that, because they've already got materials ordered, but
Yeah,
if, you know, if we were dealing with somebody that, you know, you weren't familiar with or out of town, you know, that'd be a little more. So I guess that's my question, and ICAP
and
needs a, if the county is okay with that, then ICAP just needs the county to say, yeah, we're okay with doing that. Otherwise, he did put in there, that green column is like a 50% down payment, which he said they've done before too. Which would be a little less, but. Well, in talking with Courtney, we thought it'd be best if, you know, we came to you guys and just kind of talked about it and see what you guys' thoughts were before we.
The only thing that's wrong with there is that instead of 5,000, it's $10,000.
but we already probably paid 5, right, or not?
We haven't yet, but
Okay. I didn't know when we did the other,
they haven't billed us for that. Yeah, so you're right, it's $10,000. I think Courtney, they were sending, the check would be up to sign off on by the county and Brinks, correct,
Mhm.
if they paid the.
Yeah.
The ACV amount upfront.
I see no problem with it, them being local, that we do this, but. We need to make a motion for it or what?
I think that'd be great.
I'll make a motion that we do a 2-party check with Brinks Exteriors for the ACV amount.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Are you gonna let John know?
I can, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right, item number 6 is the new management annual update for PFI 364, section 7, Wheatland Township. They changed crop rotation for option meals. Moving on to committee reports.
Last week, I had newspaper and radio. Monday, RSVP and foster grandparents board meeting. Tuesday, I did meet with Jamie and discuss. Or give him the stuff from ISAC on the EMS essential services levy. At noon, Gina and I went CCGP, and the meeting was a lot about Chevron, REW and Ralston, and the time it led into Tyson and Perry. Wednesday night, if I heard you had the steering committee for our 10-year comprehensive plan. Thursday, I went out to roads and looked at payables. That was awesome, how cheap they were at, keep up with the work. Then the courthouse. And then the desk came on Thursday, the landfill did come and pick up 500 pounds of cardboard. It was nice, but it was 2 huge stacks. Friday was the move, Saturday was legislative forum. And this week, on Wednesday, Carroll County leadership. Class that said they taught me so well how to teach last year.
Excuse me.
I can go back to the Tuesday CCGP board meeting. Scott pretty well covered that. She did say that they had a lot of inquiries on different buildings and businesses. And Wednesday night, I attended the Carroll Housing Assessment meeting. And Thursday Thursday was Highway 30 coalition. I zoomed in on that meeting. Worked a lot on that. They have, there's some road work being done in the area. And then Friday was the Yes Center. And, there was, actually, I'm gonna hand this around, you guys want to look at this statistic for last year, it's kind of interesting. But, our Trump speed was up 159,000, which is basically all pretty well current, but it's just that we've had that much. We did get new signature cards signed up for on our checking accounts and stuff. We did have, I ended up was going to review the facilities. We got a good review on that. For we had 10 Friday when we had our meeting, and on average, we wound up at 3.9, and then for the year, it wound up the whole average for the year was 10 kids per day. So I think we did get it, but right now, sometimes. And then Saturday, I attended the legislative forum. And this week I have Monday to today at noon, I got Rotary. And Tuesday is policy council. And Wednesday is Rolling Hills mental health. We're going to be zooming that because it's supposedly going to be a short meeting, which I part of the Thursday, and then new opportunities board meeting.
Which Rotary's? Goon or
Carroll, Stephanie, I gotta go to that report.
I can go. I had the daycare last Monday. The safety meeting on Tuesday. We did have a minor incident, just so you know, that the safety committee will be reviewing at the April meeting. And then I had a DCAT meeting last Thursday. And after today, I will be going on vacation. So.
I can go next. I want to report. And I don't know the exact dates, so just roll with this. I had a chamber Carroll County Growth Partnership and a lot of business partners and private and public housing meeting last week. Discussing different options and how we can move forward. I'm trying to fill that void of housing, what kind of housing that looks like, bringing everybody to the table, the right people to the table. For Carroll, this is a starting point. Abigail from Iowa State Extension Office came and did a presentation. Gina was there with me as well. I did have an hour meeting. It was confidential. I can't talk about what was said during this meeting, but going forward, I'll have a conversation with people that need to be involved. Then Thursday, Friday last week, I was up at the courthouse watching the new desks come in, and Friday was there early in the morning to kind of help facilitate the move. But I want to say thank you to the courthouse staff for doing a good job, and thank you to Scott for being there and helping with the Iowa Prison Industries. I know you put a lot of sweat, tears, and time into that too. Then I had Hungry Canyons in Atlantic, where we discussed different projects that are going on through different counties. I do sit on that scoring committee, and there were 7 applications that were brought forth, and every single one was approved. Crawford County, Adair, Plymouth, and Pot County. So I know going forward, I'm actually gonna have a conversation with you because the room is full of county engineers. So sometimes when they're talking about their budgets, it's a little above my head, but I do know that we give them $5,000 to be a part of that membership, correct? So if you guys wanted to kind of a look at what they do, there's an agenda with some pictures as well. Then I had, after that original meeting, then we went into the exec scoring committee, which you guys will see what applications were brought in. And then Zach and I had quite a few conversations over the weekend about gravel roads. I want to thank your staff for doing the most that they can. I understand the gravel roads aren't in the greatest conditions right now because it is the first of spring. They will be a little sloppy until it stops raining. It does happen every year. Yes, it does. And then I did spend quite a bit of time with John Warden over the phone discussing different ideas, going forward as far as nonprofits applying for the county. Then I had a Region 12 exec board, I don't know if you guys still remember. But we received, it was $12 million, well, Region 12 received $12 million for a food processing.
Yeah.
Application, well. Yeah, originally we had allocated quite a bit of that money to West Liberty Foods. But we are actually going to break that contract. They did not follow up and follow through with their end of their deal on their loan agreements. So we're actually gonna pull out, so that money will go back into that checking account at Region 12. And we'll be looking at other applications that have applied for it. One of them was a farmers cooperative. And also Mary Ann Specialty Needs. So just so you guys know that we do have funds available at Region 12. And they do have a board that specifically needs to vet these applications first, and then it comes to the executive board, so they make a recommendation, and we kind of, most of the time we follow the recommendation and we'll bring questions back. That was the majority of the reasons why we got together, was because we did decide to. For that money. Now they can come back and reapply to try to get funding, but they kind of have to figure out their inside business first.
Did you guys, give them the funds already?
We approved the application
I remember that.
upon completion of the requirements they had to do, and they failed it by the time.
Really?
So is that plan still gonna be a go? Just not with our funding?
That's nuts, because that was a long process to get to that point.
It was. And they have since, I think there might be, I can't speak for the company itself, you can look all this up online, because it's all public knowledge, but there was quite a few layoffs. I think if anything, their future might look like a different ownership,
Okay.
is my guess.
I'm
But
glad,
I'll send this around to
I'm
you.
glad that didn't get tied up before that.
We have some questions anyway, because, you know, it is in Illinois, part of the,
Based in Illinois, but.
but a lot of,
Producers in Iowa.
they do. And
Yeah.
the reason why we question it, because we didn't want that money going outside of Iowa, since a lot of our producers
Yeah.
deliver to that, we were okay with it, but it is. Current housing projects, we have a Kenora duplex, there's a half. I'm just gonna send this around, but I'm gonna name off the 10, there's 2 in Kenora, 1 in Coon Rapids, Manila, Audubon, Menlo, Glidden, Dedham. And there's a fix up in Sheridan. I'm gonna send this around so you guys can kind of take a look at it. That's the executive. Then last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, I did have a farm bureau, Gene and I went there, and great conversation. I think that went very, very well. You were there, sorry. Great conversation, and I think they're very happy with the way the county is conducting business as far as from the tax perspective. And then we also had the assessor meeting. That is it. This week, I handed in a letter of support to the conservation on behalf of, they want to get some grant funding, have a lady come in from the Iowa State Extension, I think, to go into the 8th grade and discuss with students about different learning, but there is a grant, so it would cost the county nothing, but I did do a letter of support for that. I was up at the courthouse this morning, they're gonna it's gonna take a little bit of time for them to get settled in their new space, but that'll come. And then I have some Rotary today at 12 with Gene. That is it.
Last week, Board of Health, we had new operators came, did program updates, and they had questions about the VFC, which is a vaccination reimbursement deal, and I think they are going to have McFarland now sign a paper to be like the place for that instead of, yeah.
VFC's vaccine for children.
Yeah. And public health was, this is just real brief, but they were looking to get a credit card on, and I think they can do that through their Board of Health. Do we have to approve that? That was one thing we were asking.
Yeah, they would have to, the board would have to approve that,
Those, yes.
but
And we did.
I did
that.
get an email from
Maggie,
Becky,
okay.
Becky with a form, like a request to get one, so I was gonna put it on the agenda for next week.
Yep. And we filled the open board position, but, they have newspaper, radio, and nothing else. I have filled it, 3 phone calls now about the 2 mile radius going around for Carroll and the county. They have that meeting planned for April 1st, if anybody wants to attend that, they have some people getting together Monday, April 1st at Lauderdale Community Building at 7 o'clock at night. I would probably try getting there if you can.
What, can I ask what this is in reference to, like?
It sounds like-
2 mile radius.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some
radius?
people, okay, they're on their deal, it says. Our goal is to get enough signatures to eliminate any radius restrictions around Carroll. It sounds like one person's heading this. There's a Gary on this and his number, but they've been passing it around to people all around the city of Carroll, you know. So
Pretty generic language.
it's really generic, this piece of paper is, but it says on the bottom ITR, so I don't know if that's a something radius representative will be at the meeting, ITR representative. I don't know if that's Iowa town radius, I don't know what that is, but
My suggestion is we probably need to get a hold of the county attorney too, because he thought it needs to be present. I don't know, we set that, well, I didn't think it could be overturned with a petition.
I don't think it can, but there's
There's
gonna,
no report.
yes, there's gonna be a lot of. Just letting people know there's gonna be a lot of people pushing behind this, I'm assuming here real shortly, so. Just wanted to be on your radar
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
next
Anything
week.
else important?
No, the move went as smooth as I guess it could.
Think about switching.
Yeah. For newspaper radio,
Oh,
I was,
yours?
I was gonna do it,
Oh, yeah, cause you're gone next week. Absolutely.
okay, if you don't mind,
All of those for.
if you don't mind,
Okay. Yeah, you want my notes?
sure, I'll take more notes.
So now you don't have anything coming up?
No, scratch it.
Alright.
I love it.
Do we have anything? to speak?
I'm not sure, it's like, well, that credit card request.
Lisa emailed me that, we've got $208,720.82. So I'm gonna, actually just do $175,000.
208 on the side, yeah.
You okay with that, Mike?
Yeah.
75,000.
Yep. If you wanna put that on, yeah.
So we have credit card.
Yep, and then we have 9 o'clock will be our public hearing for the proposed tax. And then we'll close that meeting, and we'll close that meeting and start a new meeting. And that's all I have, other than the credit card, so.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion in a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
I know one of the people at the question for territorial.
Yep.
You turn that up.
Mhm.